Welcome in to Outkick the show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope that all of you are having a spectacular Tuesday. Tomorrow morning, I'm off to Las Vegas. Just as an FYI, we'll be doing a special bracket preview tomorrow night, late night, for those of you on the East Coast, 10 o'clock Eastern. We will be doing a special bracket breakdown of the NCAA tournament with my guys at sportsbookreview.com. We'll be live from my suite in Las Vegas at the Palazzo. So if you are an NCAA tournament aficionado, as many of you are, if you like to gamble, as I know many of you do, that will be fun. That will be at 10 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. And I'll be doing it in concert with my friends at sportsbookreview.com. They've got a $5,000 bracket challenge you can go sign up for. sportsbookreview.com. Get hooked up now because Santa Clay is about to come to town. I want to make sure you guys get the best possible numbers wherever you may be. Las Vegas, anywhere in the country. If you are filling out brackets and you are interested in winning your bracket challenge and making sure you get the best numbers across the board, go to sportsbookreview.com. My guys there. And again, we'll be doing a live show tomorrow night at 10 live from Las Vegas, where I will be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday. We are also doing a meetup, a public meetup on Thursday. I will tweet out the destination for that meetup. If you happen to be in the area, make sure that you swing by and say hi. It's going to be at 4 o'clock on Thursday, Las Vegas time. That's 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock in the good old Pacific time zone. Make sure that you get there and you will be ready to roll. All right, several things to get to, but first, it is nearly spring. The birds are chirping early in the morning. The sun is staying up later at night. I know because I got to go coach baseball tonight. Baseball season is even here. You know what that means? Home buying season, boys and girls. Wherever you live across the country, it is time to make sure that you are pre-qualified to get the best possible mortgage rate anywhere in the country. I'm telling you, there is no more stressful time in a home buying process than going out and starting to make offers. And if you go out and you make offers on a variety of different homes, then I'm telling you right now, you need to be pre-qualified. You need to make sure that you got your finances in order. My guy Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com will hook you up. Make sure that you do it, and you'll be glad that you did, okay? So much to get to today. I am telling you right now, we've got a loaded show. NFL free agency madness is underway. We've got the Elin Woods $50 million mansion for sale. She made over $100 million for 6 years of marriage to Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is back, y'all. At least the television ratings are. We'll talk about it. The NFL hates ESPN. We didn't get to that yesterday because I spent so much time talking about all of the situations in the OJ case yesterday and his confession live on air, and medical marijuana. You guys know I live in Nashville, Tennessee. There is a bill pending. I am a libertarian. I believe that people should be able to have relationships with their doctors and make decisions about whether or not they can be prescribed medical marijuana. It's going to be a tight vote. I am in favor of passage, and I will tell you a couple people you can reach out to in that arena. I am stepping fully into the medical marijuana battle. Okay, several different things to hit here. Let's start with NFL free agency madness. Tomorrow in the afternoon is the official start of NFL free agency, but right now you can negotiate with teams, and we have stories dropping like crazy. Overnight, while many of us were sleeping, I wake up at 4:15 a.m. What do I see? The first possible major free agent signing, to the extent you want to take it. The Denver Broncos are signing Case Keenum. He is moving from the Minnesota Vikings to go take over in Denver. Then in rapid order. Lots of other free agent signings being announced, but in particular, I focus on the quarterbacks. Sam Bradford going to the Arizona Cardinals for a $20 million one-year guarantee. Kirk Cousins potentially rewriting the NFL contract record book. 3-year, massive deal. I think it's $87 million over 3 years for Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Are the Vikings now the favorites to win the Super Bowl? I think you can make a strong argument that they are. I love the move by the Minnesota Vikings. We can talk about the decision by Drew Brees, gets roughly $25 million to stay. And I think the big question that's now left out there is what in the world, yes, it's a great point about Kirk Cousins. All of his money is guaranteed, and he's going to be a free agent again at the age of 32. Kirk Cousins has played the NFL free agent market better and his representation than any player in the history of the NFL. He is going to get more guaranteed dollars than anybody in the history of the NFL. I salute him. I'm a capitalist. I want people to make as much money for their talent as they possibly can. I believe that Kirk Cousins throwing to Thielen, throwing to Diggs, throwing to Kyle Rudolph with a healthy running back in Cook from Florida State, I think that offense has a chance to be special. And we already know that there is a big-time, strong defense in Minnesota. I think it's likely that the Vikings, if they stay healthy, are the favorite to win the Super Bowl now this year. I love the move by the Minnesota Vikings. I'm a proponent of when you get close, go all in for it. Don't tiptoe up to it. Don't try to build your team to win 10 games for years to come. If you think you're close and the Vikings think they're close, then go get a quarterback that you believe can be a difference maker and go win your championship. Moreover, I love the way that Kirk Cousins played this. I absolutely am in love with all of his money being guaranteed, the way they played the Washington Redskins for a 4th-round quarterback out of Michigan State to end up being one of the highest-earning quarterbacks of all time, and for him to hit free agency again at the age of 32. He's going to make probably, if he does well, another $100 million before his career is done. He gets to go to Minnesota, potentially win, and definitely contend for a Super Bowl. He deserves all the credit as well as his representation for putting himself in that position. I absolutely love it. Congratulations to Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the big question that spirals out of all these decisions, and if you're not up to date with them, Case Keenum is going to the Broncos. Sam Bradford gets $20 million. Great work by his agent, too, to go to the Cardinals. Remember, Sam Bradford got over $50 million because he got in under the final year of the draft picks getting insane dollars. Drew Brees stays with the Saints, and Kirk Cousins is to the Vikings. All of those things have come down. Obviously, other players are moving as well. But to me, the big question becomes, what are the Browns going to do? What are the Browns going to do at number 1? Do they have the balls to go get the best player in the draft, Saquon Barkley, and then put the onus on the Giants and the Colts to trade those picks away and end up giving to somebody who wants a quarterback? Or will the Giants and the Colts be willing to stick with what they are doing? That, to me, is a massive question. Because if the Browns take Saquon Barkley and the Colts and the Giants end up taking additional players instead of trading their picks, then the Browns could still get the overall number 1 quarterback on their board and also be adding a spectacular player in certainly a fantastic asset, Saquon Barkley. By the way, I just had to block a guy for telling me that I talk too much. Motherfucker, this is my show. If I just sit here, nobody's talking. Literally, the only reason this show exists is because I talk. So if I didn't talk, I'm not good looking. People aren't just going to come stare at me and say, my God, look how incredible that man's jawline is. Look how exquisite his beard is. Look how spectacular his hair is. I got to block people every now and then. If I look over and actually see somebody saying something that's stupid, I got to tell you, you have to go. You're gone forever. So that's what I do. I talk on the show because otherwise, what do you want me to do? Play the flute? Get out my banjo? I don't know how to play any instruments. I know how to talk. That's what I do for a living, and write as well. I do have quite solid jawline, though. Strong neck game going on here. Okay, so what are the Browns going to do? If the Browns were really ballsy, they would take Saquon Barkley number 1 overall, and they would put the ball in the court, so to speak, for the Giants and the Colts and see whether there's a lot of demand for somebody to trade up. We obviously know that the Bills need a quarterback. We know that the Jets need a quarterback. We know that there are a lot of teams out there angling to try to get up to be able to draft somebody. But if you are the Browns and you could get Saquon Barkley at 1, given the talent they've added at wide receiver, and then you could go get your number 1 overall quarterback, given the fact that you've already got Tyrod Taylor, who I don't believe in, but at least is probably better than Deshaun Kaiser, then the Browns would actually have played this pretty well. So that is a play. Is that official? Did that just happen? Is the Jets officially signed Teddy Bridgewater? I'm not sure if that's officially happened. That's been rumored. But has that actually happened while we were on the air right now doing the show? Okay. If that is true, many of you coming in and saying that, Rappaport said it's happening. Okay, well, then that obviously means the Jets might not be that aggressive about wanting to trade up either, because then you've got the Broncos at 5 and you've got the Jets at 6. The quarterback market may not be as aggressive as you might have thought. That basically means that the only team without any quarterback at all is the Bills. So maybe the Bills want to try to move up to the 2 or the 3 spot to go get somebody at quarterback. Otherwise, I don't think the Colts or the Giants are going to be drafting quarterbacks. And if that's the case, the Browns could find themselves in spectacular position. I've been asking this question, and nobody else is asking this question, but I think it's a good one. If you were the Browns, I want you to follow me along this path. What do college football teams do every year? They go out and they get multiple 5-star talent. Georgia Bulldogs are a great example. They signed 3 5-stars in the last 3 years. They signed Jacob Eason, who looked really good, now transferred to Washington. Jake Fromm, who looked really good and almost won him a national championship as a true freshman. And they just signed Fields. I can't remember his first name, but he's the number 1 overall quarterback in America. They do that because it's hard to project a high school kid to college and you're not sure how good they're going to be. Well, certainly the leap from college to the pros is also difficult. Justin Fields. Tell me why, even though it's a crazy idea to some, the Browns drafting a quarterback at 1, 4, and the first pick overall of the second round wouldn't seem crazy, but be genius. What if you took Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, or if potentially you don't get that choice, at UCLA, Josh Rosen, and then, or Baker Mayfield, or whichever guys you like, and then you also took Lamar Jackson at the start of the second round. One of those 3 guys is probably going to turn out pretty good, right? And then maybe all 3 of them end up being decent. If that's true, then you've got tremendous trade bait for them. Remember when everybody ripped the Redskins because they made the decision to draft RG3 number 2 overall, and then they made an intriguing idea, and they also drafted Kirk Cousins in the 4th round. And some people who are old school football guys were like, what in the world are they thinking, drafting 2 quarterbacks in the same draft class? Wouldn't it make sense? And then RG3 looked like he was going to be really good and then crapped out, and Kirk Cousins has turned into a top 12-ish quarterback. Let me ask you this question. Why couldn't the Browns, who have failed in basically everything, not make sure that they get a good quarterback by bringing 3 guys in to their locker room and finding out, letting them compete just like you would in college, let them find out who the best one is. Now, look, it's the NFL. It's commonplace for somebody to get injured. I think it's an amazing idea that very few people will discuss because it hasn't been done very often. Because people are like, oh, quarterbacks are so delicate. We can't allow this to happen. We worry about the number of reps they will get and everything else. Well, you got the preseason. Can't you go out and let them all compete just like you would in college? Nobody worries about the delicate psyche of college quarterbacks. Nobody sits around with college quarterbacks and says, oh, we can't sign another 5-star because we've already got a 5-star. Iron sharpens iron, right? Nick Saban doesn't stop recruiting 5-stars because he's already got a bunch of 5-stars. He brings in other good talent, which is going to push the talent around him. So why couldn't an NFL team take a page from what they do in college and draft multiple quarterbacks at the top of the draft? And if you decide that you love one of them and the other one's pretty good, why couldn't you trade the other one and eventually get the value back for him? Certainly we've seen a lot of quarterbacks be drafted who are later traded in recent years and end up having some value. Most recently, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo getting traded. They also traded Jacoby Brissett, the Patriots did. Why not bring in as many quarterbacks as you can? If it's so difficult to project how good a quarterback is going to be, why put all of your eggs in the proverbial basket of one quarterback when you're the Cleveland Browns and ever since Bernie Kosar, you have been effectively failing at the quarterback position? I think it's time to think outside of the eggs in the one basket idea. Think outside of the box. Do something that isn't what everybody else has been doing. Be the Browns and make a strategic decision that everybody else may not agree with. Cap space is not an issue. Quarterbacks don't cost that much. Draft picks don't cost that much. You're actually in pretty good shape. You don't have to pay that much for them. That's the recipe that allowed the Seattle Seahawks to win a championship. That's the recipe that in theory could allow the Dallas Cowboys to contend for a championship, and that could have allowed the Titans and the Bucks to contend. When you find a good young quarterback and he's good out of the gate and you play him a lot, then you don't have to worry about paying him his market value, which might be $25 million. You've got him locked in for a low rate. If Deshaun Watson can stay healthy, the Houston Texans are going to open up a window where they can sprinkle a lot more money at positions outside of quarterback and not have to worry about tying up all of their funds in one big-time playmaker. Just an idea, something to think about, okay? Something to think about in general there. That's where the NFL is right now. All right. I got to talk about this. Elin Woods. Did you guys hear about Elin Woods? She has put her West Palm Beach or North Palm Beach or wherever the hell it was, somewhere in the Palm Beach area, house on the market. And she has put this house on the market. This is from ESPN's Darren Ravel, who reported this, and it came via the Wall Street Journal. So it might be in the Wall Street Journal today. I haven't read it. Tiger's ex-wife, Elin Nordgren, has put her 29,000 square foot estate in North Palm Beach, Florida, with 11 bedrooms and 15 bathrooms on the market for $49.5 million. She bought the site 7 years ago for $12 million and built a compound on 1.4 acres there. I got to talk about this. Has there ever been a greater Outkick the coverage by any woman than Elin Woods, Elin Nordgren, who went from Jasper Parnovik's nanny to $100 millionaire without a job in between? She went from a nanny to $100 millionaire in 6 years without any job in between. This is the quintessential definition of the most powerful privilege that exists in America today, which no one talks about it. Hashtag hot girl privilege. You are a smoking hot Swedish chick. You are working as a nanny, making 40,000 kronen a year or whatever the hell she got paid in Swedish dollars. Not very much money. I don't know what the unit of currency is in Sweden. Do they have the euro there? I don't know. They don't have a lot of money. I mean, they have a lot of money, but they don't have, I don't know what their money is. And out of nowhere, she marries Tiger Woods. Tiger does not get a prenup. In one of the all-time bad reads, Tiger needed his caddy on his shoulder there. He needed, what was the guy's name? Steve. He needed Steve there on his shoulder. He needed Steve there on his shoulder saying, hey, maybe get a caddy. Maybe a caddy right there in the ear. Hey, like you need a life caddy. Tiger needed his life caddy to show up here, whisper into his ear, maybe get a prenup. Not an expert on things, but just like I tell you how to read the green and what direction to putt, I'm telling you right now, get a prenup, bud. doesn't get a prenup, cheats on his wife, gets busted for it, gets knocked out with a 9-iron, gets chased out of his own house when she checks his phone, and Tiger Woods ends up paying her over $100 million. Elin is then maybe the hottest bachelorette of all time. Not only single, 30 years old, worth over $100 million, and she buys an estate, a.k.a. a compound, in North Palm Beach. I got to tell you, some people are upset with me. People are always upset with me. Doesn't matter what I say, people get upset. I put up a poll question, and I asked the question, and I think a lot of people are lying about this. Would you okay with being married? Would you be okay with being married for 6 years if your husband or wife cheated on you during that marriage, but you got $100 million in the divorce? What I found with this poll is that 24% of you are damn liars. Over 33,000 of you voted, and 76% of you said you would be perfectly fine with that. This, my friends, is insanity that Elin got over $100 million. Congratulations to Elin. As my friend Kelly Stewart at Kelly in Vegas wrote directly underneath the poll, $100 million can buy a lot of stuff to fix a broken heart. Spoken like a true romantic. That is 100% the case. 76% of you agreed with me. I just don't see it as being a very difficult decision. Some of you were upset, such as, let me read this. Matthew Harrison says, "This is the saddest poll question I've ever seen. I'm ashamed at how much America has devalued marriage." This is Matthew Harrison, upset that I would put up a poll question like this, asking if you'd rather have $100 million or be divorced after 6 years. You'd be willing to take that payment. "I'm ashamed at how much America has devalued marriage and overvalued the love for money." Everything in America and the world in a capitalistic system comes down to dollars and cents. If you pay me enough money and I don't have to go to jail to do it, you can pretty much buy me to do anything. Now, it might be a lot of money, but if you paid me enough money, I would have sex with a man on the 50-yard line, on the Dallas Cowboys star, on the Jumbotron. It would have to be a lot of money, but I would do it if you paid me enough money. If you told me right now, Clay Travis, I will give you the Dallas Cowboy franchise, but what we are requiring of you in exchange for this multi-billion-dollar NFL team is that you have sex with a man on the star logo of the Dallas Cowboys midfield. Do you know what I would do? I would probably have sex with a man on the star logo of the Dallas Cowboy midfield. Now, I wouldn't enjoy it, but I've done a lot worse things than have sex with a man that I didn't enjoy for a lot less than $2 billion. And if everybody out there judged me for it, you know what I would say? Judge away. I've got $2 billion. Now, we got to talk about Tiger here for a minute. Tiger Woods is back, and these ratings are unbelievable. These Tiger Woods ratings are flat out unbelievable. I got ratings for you right here. Final round of the 2017 Masters. Got a 7-6. The U.S. Open got a 3-6. I'm never going to start calling it the Open. It's always going to be the British Open to me. Suck it, England. Got a 3-2. The PGA got a 3-6. For 3-6, the 2018 Valspar, whatever it is, got a 5-1. 50% more people watched the 2000 Valspar Open than watched the PGA Championship, the U.S. Open, or the British Open because of Tiger Woods. Now, a lot of people are talking about how Tiger has got his mojo back. Why is Tiger playing so well? How did he come in second? Might he contend at the Masters? And nobody's pointing to what I think is a pretty key thing about Tiger Woods. Maybe it's the steroids that he's back on, so he can swing the golf club a lot faster. But I think what also happened was, remember the Tiger Woods dick pic went out. And the Tiger Woods dick pic made a lot of us suddenly understand why he had back issues. Why the guy's been walking around with a third leg, 18 holes for years. It's amazing to me that his back didn't go out sooner, especially with all the torque when he swings it and his big helicopter dick gets moving down the fairway. It's amazing to me that Tiger didn't tear his Achilles much younger than now. Now, the nude photos of Tiger Woods got leaked, and Tiger Woods came out and officially said on TigerWoods.com that he was appalled that his gigantic penis has been shared all over the internet. And I got to tell you, that was the best thing that could ever happen to Tiger Woods. Because when everybody knows that you have a gigantic penis, you have a lot more confidence standing over the golf ball. Because in the back of his mind, he's thinking, I got a bigger dick than everybody in this tee box. They can talk trash about the Perkins waitress. They can talk trash about everything that has happened in my life. But if push came to shove, I could choke him to death with my dick. That's what Tiger Woods is thinking. I'm telling you, when he's in the tee box. And so when he's standing there and he's about to tee off and hit the ball 130 miles an hour down the fairway, I think in the back of his mind, he's like, everybody saw my dick here and they are in awe. Everybody's in awe of Tiger Woods' golf shot. I'm telling you, when he had to apologize because his gigantic dick pictures got leaked, greatest moment of Tiger Woods' career. It helped to cancel out him having to apologize for having all that sex. He's like, I'm sorry that I had sex outside of marriage. I'll tell you this right now. I said it at the time. What Tiger Woods should have done instead of apologizing was he should have come out and just said something straightforward. He should have said something straightforward like, I apologize. I apologize for the fact that I thought when I got married that I wasn't going to want to have sex with a lot of other people. It turns out that I was wrong, okay? Turns out that I was wrong. I'm a bit of a poon hound. Instead of going to sex rehab, I'm going to get divorced and I'm going to sleep with every woman I can possibly imagine sleeping with so that I get it out of my system. And then when I'm like 55 and I'm not a poon hound anymore, I'll get married and I'll settle back down. Until then, I apologize. I like to sleep with women and I want to sleep with more than one woman. And people would have said, you know what? I wish that Tiger Woods had stayed married, but every man in America would have said, you know, I kind of see what Tiger Woods is talking about, right? He should have done exactly what Derek Jeter did. Don't get married to a hot chick until your career is over. And then nobody ever judges you. Derek Jeter slept with every former Maxim model on the planet. And all of the FHM ones too. And all of the SI swimsuit issue people. And you know what people said? Derek Jeter is awesome. Tiger Woods did the same thing, except tossing in a couple of porn stars. And you know what everybody said? Tiger Woods is awful. Do you know what the difference was? Jeter didn't get married. If you stay single, you can do whatever you want and nobody judges you for anything. The minute that you get married and you sleep with a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, you're the worst human being on earth. Tiger needed the caddy right in his ear saying, don't do it, Tiger. Date women if you want to. Don't marry any of them. You would have the all-time record for Jack Nicklaus, I firmly believe this, if he had not gotten caught with Elin. If he had just stayed single, if Tiger Woods was still single, he'd be one of the most admired men in America. Everybody would wish they were Tiger Woods. And when those dick pics came out, you would have said, no wonder he's not getting married. If I walked around with a third leg, I wouldn't get married either. But the dick pic coming out, everybody's talking about how did Tiger Woods get his mojo back? I'm telling you, it's everybody knowing that he has a gigantic dick now. Everybody out there, like in the back of his mind, he's like, yeah, you can judge me. But you know also that I can choke you to death with my dick. Just wrap it right around your throat and you'll be done. That's what Tiger Woods is thinking every time when he's in the tee box. I guarantee you. Smoke. That it's just coming right out. Just coming right out. 350 yards right down the center of the fairway. Turns around, gives a little smirk to everybody in the box. Tips his cap to some women. Right down the fairway he goes. And don't tell me the women didn't see that and be like, you know what? I used to not like Tiger Woods. Now that I know he's got that, he's going to be a billionaire and he's walking around with a third leg. I can live with that. I can make a living on that. And if he cheats on me, I'll get $100 million like Elin Woods. I don't understand why it's a bad decision. All right. A couple of other things. All right. The NFL hates ESPN. I have been telling you guys for a while now that the NFL hates ESPN. They hate the way that ESPN has covered off-field related incidents and the way that they exacerbated the tensions arising from the Colin Kaepernick protest. Not one person on ESPN went on for 2 years and said this: Colin Kaepernick is an idiot and his protest makes no sense. All the people that ESPN employs, and they didn't have one person who would go on the air and say that. They've attacked Roger Goodell consistently. They have gone after the NFL for every off-the-field related incident you can possibly imagine, from domestic violence to every other sordid misdeed. And in the process, ESPN made the decision to elevate the NBA. All ESPN talks about now when it comes to free time is the NBA. They cover the NBA like every player that plays in the NBA is freaking Mahatma Gandhi. It's one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. Every time an NBA player sends a social justice warrior tweet, they get treated like they just published the letter from the Birmingham jail by Martin Luther King Jr. And even when those tweets and Instagram posts make no sense, you would think that they have just revolutionized American notions of fair play and justice. Meanwhile, every time somebody does anything in the NFL that hurts the overall brand of the NFL, it gets covered as the lead story. Nobody out there defends the NFL. Nobody out there defends football in general. The Sports Business Journal has an absolutely phenomenal article about the poor relationship that now exists between the NFL and ESPN. Now, partly this is a natural tension, right? There should not be a league that also is in business with a primary reporting partner of that league. There shouldn't be a difference. There should be a separation between church and state, right? Right now, church and state are one at ESPN. They are in bed with the NFL from a business perspective, and they're also ripping them while trying to cover them from a news perspective. It's an unholy alliance that shouldn't be allowed to actually exist. And if it does exist, what the NFL is saying is, why are we not getting the soft stroke, lotioned up hand treatment that the NBA gets? You would think that the NBA is filled with all Nelson Mandelas. And the reality is there's not much difference between NFL players and NBA players. There's not that much difference between the NFL and the NBA, except David Stern was smart enough to force players to stand for the national anthem. The NBA hasn't had any protests. And nobody at ESPN sits around ripping the NBA for requiring players to stand for the national anthem, yet they rip every single NFL owner who comes out and says, you know what, I think it's bad business not to stand for the national anthem. I want my players to stand. Think about the irony of that. The NBA actually demands that players stand for the national anthem. Nobody at ESPN has ever criticized the league for having that rule. Every time that somebody like Jerry Jones comes out and says, you know what, maybe we should have a rule like this too, they go to war at ESPN with the NFL. It's completely illogical. I don't blame the NFL for being upset. It's one thing if you cover on-field related issues. I think every NFL owner would say, look, if my team sucks, you got a right to break down why we suck. If we make a bad draft pick, you got a right to rip us. That's directly related to on-field product. But there's no reason that ESPN needs to have been covering the NFL controversy surrounding the national anthem and player protests like they have, and regularly ripping owners, and I think unfairly writing about the Houston Texans owner like he's the leader of the KKK because he said we can't let the inmates run the prison, trying to use a popular idiom, and they treated him, Bob McNair, like he was the leader of the KKK. They haven't fairly treated the NFL or its ownership, or frankly, Roger Goodell, who I will rip sometimes for his decisions, but not because of the overall structure of the NFL. This relationship is broken. I'm telling you, it is broken, and I don't blame the NFL one iota for, I think what they're going to do is take away Monday Night Football. And by the way, if you are ESPN President John Skipper, and you had Monday Night Football, and according to the Sports Business Journal article, you were not regularly going out to dinner with Roger Goodell, you were not regularly consulting with the people who you're in partnership with, I think you are an imbecile. I am in constant consultation with people who are partners of Outkick. I text with them all the time. I talk with them on the phone all the time. If I'm in a business relationship with you, I am going to let it be known how important that relationship is to me and make sure that I am constantly allowing you to feel comfortable reaching out to me with any issues that you might have with our coverage, with our relationship in any way. If I were the president of ESPN, I would not have allowed Colin Kaepernick to turn into a modern day Che Guevara. I would not allow him to tear down my league. I wouldn't have allowed Jamel Hill to tear down my network either by calling the president of the United States a white supremacist. ESPN would have been much better shape with me in charge. I do what's good for business if I am running a business. It's a crazy idea. A lot of people are employees and they never think about what's good for business. I think about what's good for business all the time while also being as honest as I possibly can. But if I have a relationship with an advertiser or a marketer and they're not happy with me, I try to reconcile it. I try to figure out a way to make them happier because that's what I'm in the business of doing. If I've got somebody who emails me and they're upset about something that I said, get the fuck out of here. I don't care. I'm in the opinion business. But if I've got actual partners that I'm in relationships with and they're asking me to do things and I don't do it, then they have a right to be upset. Finally, you guys know that I will tell you every political belief I have, not because I'm telling you that you have to agree with me, but just because I believe it's important to eliminate all possibilities of bias. So, I tweeted this out earlier. I would encourage you to look into this issue yourself, and if you agree with me, to be involved. I am supporting the legalization of medical marijuana in the state of Tennessee. I think this is an important bill. I think that doctor-patient relationships, that doctors should be able to prescribe marijuana to patients if it helps them get better. This is going to be a tight vote. It's going to have to pass the House and the Senate. I am told the governor will sign it. To me, again, if you agree with me and you live in East Tennessee, Representative Andrew Farmer, at Rep. Andrew Farmer, is uncertain. And at Brian Kelsey is the state Senate member in the Memphis area. I would encourage you guys to reach out. You can go look at my Twitter feed if you live in the state of Tennessee. I am in favor of medical marijuana being legalized. I think it makes sense. I understand some of you disagree. That's how opinions work. But when I have a political opinion that I think makes the state better, whether it's legalizing sports gambling or the legalization of marijuana, I am going to come out in favor of it and let you guys know that I'm in favor of it. You don't have to agree with me, but that is my position on it, and I hope it is going to pass in the state of Tennessee. It's already passed in Arkansas. There's a lot of support for it. It is not partisan. Republicans are for it. Democrats are for it. Moderates are for it. This, to me, is not a political issue. As Jeremy Faison, who is sponsoring this legislation, says, liberals, conservative, moderates, and talk show hosts like me all agree with my bill bringing medical cannabis to the state of Tennessee, to some very sick Tennesseans. Thank you, he says to me, and it's the bill 1749 will save lives, and I think this is also important, and it'll combat opiates. A lot of people are getting addicted to pain pills and dying, frankly, in this city and in this state and in this country, and I believe that if you have medical marijuana, people will be less likely to get addicted to opiates as a way to try to deal with pain. I think this makes a lot of sense. I don't think it's going to suddenly turn the country or the state or any cities into danger zones. I think this is the direction the country is going, and I'd encourage you to check out my Twitter feed and also support the legalization of medical marijuana. Again, I am in favor of it. I don't think this is partisan. I think you can be a Republican and support it, a Democrat and support it. And I would encourage you to go check out my Twitter feed if you want more information on this. I love all of you. Thank you for watching Outkick the show. I'll be live tomorrow again. Then I'll be live tomorrow night from Las Vegas with an NCAA tournament bracket preview. Going to bring on a bunch of gambling experts live from Las Vegas. It'll be brought to you by sportsbookreview.com. I'm telling you, it is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a VIP event tomorrow. If you are an Outkick VIP member, you get a chance to come hang out with me, have some beers tomorrow night in my suite in my suite and watch this show be taped live, but you have to be a VIP member. Go check out the message board. And then on Thursday, we're going to have a public event while the games are going on. Love all of you. I'll have gambling picks up tomorrow. I am Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the show. See you guys tomorrow.